Have you ever reached the end of a long day, thinking bedtime would finally be your chance to breathe, only to spend the next hour negotiating over one more story, one more drink of water, one more hug, one more trip to the bathroom, until you're standing outside your child's bedroom wondering, why is this so hard? If that's been your evening, I want you to know something. You're not failing, and you're certainly not alone. Welcome to Little Sporks. I'm Ava. Today we're talking about the silent exhaustion of bedtime battles, why the end of the day can become the hardest part of parenting, what's really happening inside your child's brain, and how a few simple changes can make bedtime feel less like a battle and more like a connection. Every parent imagines bedtime differently before they have children. You picture soft pajamas, a bedtime story, a kiss on the forehead, lights out, peace. Reality often looks very different. You finally finish cleaning the kitchen. You glance at the clock. It's already past bedtime. You tell your child, okay, sweetheart, time for bed. They immediately say, I'm not tired. 5 minutes later, they're running through the hallway. Another 5 minutes. They're asking for another snack, then another story. Then suddenly they desperately need their favorite stuffed animal that hasn't been seen in 3 weeks. You stay patient at first, but after repeating yourself for what feels like the 20th time, your voice changes. Your shoulders tighten. You feel frustration rising. And then comes the guilt. I shouldn't have yelled. Why can't bedtime just be easy? Other parents probably have this figured out. That quiet guilt, that emotional drain, that's the silent exhaustion. If you've ever hidden in the bathroom for just 60 seconds after bedtime, you're not alone. If you've ever counted the minutes until your child finally falls asleep, you're not alone. If you've ever looked at the clock and realized bedtime took longer than the rest of your evening combined, you're definitely not alone. Most parents don't talk about bedtime struggles. Social media often shows sleepy children peacefully drifting off while soft music plays in the background. What it rarely shows is the fourth request for water, the fifth trip out of bed, or the parent silently wondering if they'll ever get 30 minutes to themselves. Parenting can feel incredibly lonely because we often assume everyone else is managing better. But behind closed doors, many families are having the exact same bedtime conversations. You're not the only one, and you're not doing anything wrong. So, why does bedtime become such a struggle? It helps to remember something important. Bedtime isn't just about sleep. For many young children, bedtime feels like separation. During the day, you're nearby, you play together, you comfort them, you respond when they need you. Then suddenly, the lights go off, the room becomes quiet, and they're expected to stay alone. For a developing brain, that can feel surprisingly big. Young children also have very limited impulse control. Even when they're exhausted, their brains don't always recognize that tired feeling as a signal to settle down. In fact, many children become more energetic when they're overtired. They laugh louder, they run faster, they seem almost wired. It's not because they're trying to frustrate you, their nervous system is struggling to regulate itself. There's another reason bedtime feels difficult. Children have very little control over most of their day. Adults decide when they wake up, what they wear, what they eat, where they go. When bedtime arrives, saying no can become one small way of feeling independent. It's not necessarily defiance. Often, it's development. So, what actually helps? The first step is predictability. Children feel safer when bedtime follows the same pattern every night: bath, pajamas, brush teeth, story, good night. When routines stay consistent, the brain starts recognizing those cues. Eventually, the routine itself becomes a signal that sleep is coming. Second, slow things down before bedtime. Screens, exciting games, or rough play close to bedtime can make it harder for the brain to transition into rest. Think of bedtime like landing an airplane. You don't go from full speed to a complete stop in 1 second. You gradually slow down. The same is true for children. Third, offer small choices. Instead of asking, do you want to go to bed? Which invites a power struggle. Try asking, would you like the blue pajamas or the green ones? Or, should we read this book first or that one? The bedtime isn't negotiable, but giving small choices satisfies your child's growing need for independence. And finally, focus on connection before correction. Sometimes what children are really asking for isn't another story. It's one more moment of closeness, a 2-minute cuddle, a quiet conversation, a gentle back rub. Those moments often fill the emotional cup that's making it hard for them to let go. Imagine this. 4-year-old Mia keeps leaving her room every night. Her dad feels exhausted. Every time she comes out, he immediately says, Mia, back to bed. She comes out again. He becomes louder. She cries. Everyone ends the night upset. Now imagine a different approach. Before bedtime, a dad spends 5 uninterrupted minutes sitting beside Mia. No phone, no distractions, just connection. They read together, they laugh. He tells her, I loved spending today with you. After the story, he says calmly, it's time for your body to rest now. I'll check on you in a few minutes. When Mia comes out, instead of arguing, he gently walks her back without a long conversation. Same calm voice, same routine, night after night, not because it works instantly, but because consistency builds security. Within a couple of weeks, the bedtime routine becomes familiar, predictable, safe. Progress isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's simply one fewer trip out of bed than yesterday, and that's still progress. If bedtime has been difficult lately, please don't measure yourself by how quickly your child falls asleep. Measure yourself by how consistently you show up. Your calm voice matters. Your hugs matter. Your patience matters. Even on the nights when you don't feel particularly patient, children aren't looking for perfect parents. They're looking for safe ones. And every bedtime, even the messy ones, is another opportunity to build that sense of safety. Some evenings will still feel long. Some nights you'll lose your patience. Some nights nothing seems to work. That's part of parenting, not proof that you're failing. The truth is, your child won't remember every bedtime battle, but over time, they will remember how home felt, the warmth, the comfort, the consistency, the feeling that someone was always there. Those quiet moments often become the foundation of emotional security they'll carry for years, and that's worth more than one perfect bedtime. If tonight feels a little overwhelming, take a deep breath before you walk into your child's room. Remember, behind every request for one more story, one more hug, or one more minute, there's often a little heart learning how to feel safe enough to let go of the day. You're doing one of the hardest jobs in the world, and you're doing better than you think. If today's conversation encouraged you, subscribe to Little Sporks for more gentle, science backed parenting conversations that support not just your child, but you too. Until next time, take care of yourself. Because when you care for yourself, you make it just a little easier to care for the little people who need you most. I'll see you in the next episode.